The 65% zero-click reality. Google Search just hit a terminal velocity that should terrify every retail marketer. As of May 2026, over 65% of informational queries now end without a single outbound click, as users stay locked inside AI overviews and the new AI mode. This isn't a temporary dip in traffic. It is a fundamental restructuring of how the internet is monetized. Sundar Pichai's recent I/O keynote confirmed that AI mode has surpassed 1 billion monthly active users, but the real story is buried in the attribution shift. Google is quietly migrating from the 20-year-old pay-per-click model to something far more extractive. They are moving the checkout into the search result itself, and your referral traffic is the collateral damage. This pivot is the only way Google can justify its $180 billion capital expenditure on AI infrastructure this year. The rise of universal cart revenue. The mechanism replacing the click is something Google calls the Universal Commerce Protocol. By integrating native checkout flows directly into Gemini 3.5 Flash, Google is removing the need to ever visit a brand's website. When an AI agent handles the research and the purchase, there is no session to track and no UTM code to capture. For operators, this creates a massive attribution blind spot. Google is effectively turning its search engine into a global commerce middleware, taking a commission on the action rather than a fee for the lead. It is a move that protects Google's top-line revenue while hollowing out the direct-to-consumer relationship. If you aren't optimized for their universal cart, your brand effectively ceases to exist in the agentic browsing era. The unit economic pressure test. Behind the enthusiastic press releases about AI-powered discovery, the P&L is under extreme pressure. An AI-generated search result costs roughly 10 times more in compute power than a traditional index lookup. To maintain its margins, Google can't just sell ads. It has to capture the entire value chain. This is why we are seeing the aggressive rollout of action-based attribution. By forcing transactions into the Google ecosystem, they can command higher take rates that offset the massive OpEx of running Gemini at scale. Traditional publishers are seeing traffic declines of 33% globally because their content is being treated as training data for a system that now competes with them for the final sale. The search engine is no longer a map. It is a toll booth. The fallacy of referral quality. Google's current narrative to investors is that while click volume is down, referral quality is up. They claim that users who do eventually click are 23% more likely to convert. However, this is a classic case of survivorship bias. By the time a user clicks out of an AI overview, Google has already satisfied the high-margin research phase. The clicks that remain are the low-margin, high-support logistical queries that brands have to pay to service. Meanwhile, the new Ask Advisor agent is becoming the primary interface for campaign management, shifting power from human media buyers to a black box optimization engine. It's a closed loop where Google provides the agent, the attribution, and the final checkout, leaving the brand as nothing more than a fulfillment warehouse. The signal under the noise. The death of the click is actually a hostile takeover of the buyer's journey by the platform layer. By merging the search interface with a native checkout through the Universal Commerce Protocol, Google has successfully decoupled revenue from traffic for the first time in its history. This move across search and AI mode fundamentally changes the definition of a lead from a person visiting a site to an agent executing a protocol. For investors and operators, the primary metric to watch over the next 12 months isn't cost per click. It is the adoption rate of Google's universal cart across major retailers like Nike and Sephora. If the transaction volume moves into the search bar, the open web as we know it becomes a legacy backend. Watch the Q3 earnings for a breakout of agentic commerce revenue. That is the moment the old search model officially expires. Subscribe for more